The first thing you should do when you get a new camera, whether it's a rental or a purchase, is go through the menus. Now, an arguable second place would be read the instruction manual. That's okay. If you want to read the instructions, go for it. I'm not going to tell you not to. And it's probably a good idea because there probably are things in there that you may not find on your own. But the first thing that I like to do is go through the menus myself. It gets me acquainted with the menu structure and how the camera is presenting all the information to me. And what you can get out of that is you can actually find some hidden gems. For example, when I got the GH4, the camera that I'm recording with right now, first thing I did was I dug through the menu system, and there's a lot of pages of menus because there's a lot of different features that you can implement, some that are specific to photography and others that are more relevant to video. And if you know me and you've watched my channel, you know that I am a big video guy. I do photo, but video is my priority. And one of the things that I saw that really surprised me, because I hadn't heard anyone talk about it on the GH4 when it first came out, was the fact that I could implement shutter angle. If you're not familiar with shutter angle, you can look up some of the other videos I've done on it, but essentially it's a better way, in my opinion, a better way for video people to set their shutter speed. Shutter angle is what people are trying to fake or get the equivalent with their shutter speed, which you have to do on almost any other DSLR or mirrorless hybrid type camera. So a lot of these photo cameras, people have to set the shutter speed and they have to change it every time they change the frame rate. With shutter angle, you don't have to do that. Again, you can look at some other videos if you want to learn more. But that was a hidden feature on the GH4 that I would have had no idea even existed if I hadn't looked through the menus. And I think there's a lot of people out there who they buy cameras and they go for the basic features, right? They want to set their resolution, their frame rate, maybe a picture profile or two. Of course, shutter speed, ISO, aperture, and all those things that you have to change normally. But there are some other features such as, like color space and like I mentioned, shutter angle. What are some other ones? Oh, there's a time-lapse function on the GH4 that's built in internally. That's really cool that a lot of other cameras don't have. So there are little features here and there that you can find. A lot of the newer cameras actually have apps that you have to go buy or download for free and actually install on top of the firmware or software that's currently running on the camera. So that's another thing that you may have to go out of your way to find, and it's kind of exploration. You got to discover these things on your own because a lot of these cameras have features that if no one's taking the time to dig through and find out what every one of those features is, you might not even know it exists, because how would you know unless you're researching and looking at what every other person out there is doing? So if you get your hands on a camera, whether it's a new purchase, a rental, definitely go through the menu system and you'll soon find out that some camera companies do it better than others. On the high-end stuff, if you're renting a Red or an Arri or even some of the high-end Sony stuff, you can usually find the stuff you're looking for. It's just laid out in a different way. And a lot of these cameras, while they might seem intimidating, most of the features are pretty common across the board. It's just how the information is displayed. So once you get in there and you start digging through it, you can kind of figure it out. And then the more cameras you do that with, the better you'll get at figuring out, how Sony likes to present information, how Panasonic likes to refer to things, how Canon, how Nikon, how they all do it. So I definitely recommend it. Even if you're just borrowing someone's camera or you happen to be around someone, just ask them, say, hey, can I poke around in the menu system just to see what's there? Because chances are you might find something that that person didn't even know they could do. A lot of the Canon cameras, for example, come with a lot of automatic features enabled from the get-go, which may or may not be a good thing if you're doing video. You might not want some of those automatic processes to happen, and you might want to save it for post-production. So those are things you'd want to turn off, while there might be other things that you want to turn on, such as a histogram. Another option, the way the information is displayed in terms of if it's covering the screen or if it's not. Audio meters, whether you can set manual audio or automatic audio, if there's any kind of wind filtering, if you want that on or off, if there's any kind of level cap for your audio meters. There's a lot of stuff in these cameras now, and if you just kind of open up the camera and just tweak a few knobs and start shooting, you may be missing out on a lot of awesome features.